Well, hello, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody around the world. Welcome back to the One Piece video featuring your boy, Eustace Kid. Get ready for a very, very spicy deck profile featuring OP-10 here on the channel, let alone a leader in which we haven't featured in a very long time. I think the last time we had a Kid video was when Green Kid was relevant. I don't know how long ago that was. Correct me in the comments if you're interested in playing this leader. But the decks have changed since Green Kid was relevant. We had another deck that came out not too long ago, which was Eustace Kid here, the red purple one. This one personally, I did not gravitate towards. I didn't find fun. Nothing about his playstyle or cards that he was utilizing attracted me to this leader. Now, for those of you out there that are very much fans of Eustace Kid, the power to you. This card in general, this leader in general, didn't do it for me. Green Kid was one of the most boring decks that ever came out that we had the option to play. To be fair, outside of, personal opinion, Green Uta, but Kid, you didn't really play characters on board. You rested your opponent's stuff when you were able to, and you discarded all your cards in your hand just to attack face repeatedly, right? Great, awesome. In the current metagame, this is now coming back, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now, the playstyle with this was one-dimensional. We finally get into OP-10, okay? We gain access to another Eustace Kid, which also has access to yellow and life manipulation. And speaking of which, at the end of your turn, you may turn the top card of your life cards face up. Then you can set up to one of your characters that is a 3 cost to an 8, as long as they have a supernova type. They also gain blocker. Now keep in mind, at the end of your turn, you can also restand that character, give them blocker, and your opponent has to deal with it, which is really, really good. So you have options with things like Basil Hawkins here, Basil Hawkins, depending on how you want to say it. You can attack 5, right? At the end of your turn, flip a card face up in your life, then give Hawkins blocker, make your opponent have to think whether or not if they attack into you, you block with Hawkins, then you can trash one of your opponent's life. So I mean, it's another kind of like, it's almost like a mini stun, kind of sort of, because your opponent doesn't necessarily want to just give up a life for free, and mind you, it's trashed. It doesn't go through their hand, so you kind of get to prolong your late game, which is really, really good. Now, there are going to be some cards in this deck that you cannot use, which are going to be law, right? We don't have access to this right now. This is Japan, so I mean, eventually we will probably get access to this, I hope. So currently, in place of law, we will be using Frankie. The downside to Frankie, unlike every other yellow deck like Katakuri and Nell, Vegapunk, what have you, Frankie is going to be very, very good. Nico Robin, of course, as well. Every other yellow deck. In Eustace Kid, it does the same thing. You can trigger it. You can get a body on board. You can draw a card. Great. The downside to it is you cannot give this card blocker with your leader ability because it's not a supernova. So I would imagine once Law comes out, I will be subbing out Frankie for Law just to have a little bit more consistency and bodies on board that have blocker. The other one that we have access to is going to be Capone Bedge, which is fine, right? This is a very, very good card. The downside to it is there are much better 2Ks out here that I can utilize in most of my Kid lists, and you might not see one currently right now, and we're going to get into it. The reason why we aren't using this is because we are utilizing Drake instead. Drake in the current metagame allows you to rest a lot of problematic 4-cost characters and under. So things like Searchers on your opponent's board, Burgess when it comes to Marshall D. Teach, things like Dofi blockers, Boa Hancock, stuff in Doflamingo, just in general. Marshall D. Teach is another big one, and we're talking about the blue one, that Doflamingo gets to use for free. We can rest it, attack into it, do a thing, right? Drake is really, really good. Now, the only downside for this is it has an activate main, so Blackbeard can't stop it because it's not an on-play. The downside to it is your life has to be less than your opponent, right? Which isn't that bad. So I mean, outside of that, these are going to be the 2K counters in which you will be utilizing for the most part until we gain access to Law. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the list that we've cooked up today, and we'll dive into a bunch of games as we always do. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, without further ado, we have every card in this deck list is going to be over 3 outside of a few. So Luffy here, your 0 cost event, and your Poos. Everything else can be given blocker, besides of course, the 2 obvious ones. They're going to be Frankie, because we can't use Law right now, and Ace, if that makes sense to you. So that means you can give cards like Law here, which is a 9k, blocker. You can give Eustace Kid, blocker. These are 2 very, very big bodies that your opponent has to attack into, or you can utilize as a blocker before they can go for life, which is great, right, to be fair. Because a lot of times, you'll have your life where you flip the 1 card face up, right? So, to do that, you gave something blocker. Therefore, you know one of those attacks you want to take. That way you can use your leader ability again on the following turn. Does that make sense to you? And then you have cards in hand to counter another one, then use your blocker to defend the last one, most of the time, depending on what you're playing against. Now, that's like an ideal scenario. With the list that we currently have here, everything that I include in my kid decks, I want to try to have a ridiculous power to them. So Rouge here's a 7k body, Cavendish is an 8k, Zoro's a 5, but I can give all of these characters blocker at some point in the game. Being able to, I guess, double dip in a sense is really good when it comes to keeping Kid alive in the late game. You always want to have a body on board that you can utilize for attacking and for defending yourself, which is strong. Being able to give Hawkins a blocker effect along with having the on KO is really good, outside of you also having a trigger. So you can do something like drop down a Law here on board, put Basil Hawkins on the top of your life face down, right? At the end of your turn, you flip it up, then you give something blocker. When your opponent attacks into you, you can draw 2, trash 1. You see what I mean? Because if you don't take the hit, then you can't use your ability next turn because you don't have a face down life. Does that make sense? This deck in itself is very, I want to say a little bit strategic, because you have to plan out your plays and you have to do this in according. There are certain key pieces you must see, things like your Eustace Kid here, which is not difficult because you can search it out with Luffy, right? But these are cards you want to have at any stage of the game because it allows you to trash your opponent's life. So if you notice, I'm not running Nico Robin in this build. Now, we'll talk about it at the end of the video, because this is the list I've been playing with for the past couple days. This is the list in which I feel confident with. At the end of the video, we'll dive back into the deck list. I'll talk about it and I'll give you my thoughts on Nico Robin. I am working on a build with her to include in this deck as well. But currently, we have 2 ways of ripping life here in this list. With Kid, with Basil Hawkins. Nico Robin will be the 3rd when I figure out a list in which I'm confident enough or comfortable enough in showing you. But currently, this is what we are going to be cooking up. Now, speaking of which, there is going to be some use here for Rouge and Cavendish. Keep in mind, you will be playing against a lot of black decks in today's format, like Rob Lucci occasionally, Marshall D. Teach. They have access to something called Finger Gun, which is very obnoxious to deal with. So I wanted to have big bodies in the deck in which your opponent has to attack into or give me hard removal just to toss them out. So things like Finger Gun, of course, which you guys are going to see occasionally. If they don't do it, they have to attack into this to get my blocker off the board, which is great. Cavendish, on the other hand, being a 6-drop, this doesn't touch me. So they have to use more ways to remove these bodies here. Cavendish, Law, these are very key pieces for you to just give blocker, and your opponent has to attack into them or use a different form of removal. This gets out of the way of Gravity Blade. You have to Red Rocket, you have to use Ice Age, or have characters on board to minus a cost reduction. It's not just, I play Finger Gun, he's dead. You know what I mean? Rouge, I understand, but still. You gotta make do with what you have, right? We're yellow here, man. We're working with it. And speaking of which, we're playing a yellow deck that doesn't necessarily utilize a ridiculous amount of triggers like Katakuri, Nanel, and Vegapunk. So, you gotta have a way around it a little bit. And this deck does very well when it comes to healing, because this allows you to heal with your Law. This allows you to heal with your leader ability. You have a good time. Or not leader ability, sorry, I meant to say Ace. You have a good time with this. You can make it to the late game. And speaking of healing here, there will be moments where you get down super low and you're able to drop down an Ace to heal a life, right? Ace heals you, but when he does, the card is face down, right? So therefore, at the end of your turn, you can flip it face up, give something on your board blocker, and then you already have an ace body that's rested you attacked with. You give something else blocker on board. If your opponent doesn't deal with the ace, he restands and you play another one, or you play something like another law on board. It's a very, very good chain that you guys can do back to back to back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Come at you guys with Eustace Kid playing into Katakuri. This shouldn't be all too rough of a matchup. I've seen a lot of Katakuri lists in OP-10 try to use like the Supernova engine, which is interesting in itself. I don't know why we flipped that over. Let me cook. I have an idea. But anyway, they like to use the Supernova engine with Luffy's, the Basil Hawkins, and the Eustace Kid, which is interesting because they're kind of leaving their searchers behind when it comes to pudding. You know what I mean? So it's like less consistency, but maybe it's worthwhile trying. I'm not too sure. I haven't really tested it fully just yet. In any case, the peak on the ace, now that I think about it, it's pretty good that we did that, because he doesn't have to look at it, and then he can look at his own life there, which he did, and he moved it to the bottom. Which tells me all I need to know. It's going to be a Capone, a Zero Cost, or an Amaru probably. I mean, because that's what I would do, right? And this time around, we can play the Hawkins on board, reveal ours, give Hawkins blocker. What is that? Anything good? Okay, play Drake on board. Alright, well that sucks. Because it kinda hurts the play I want to do here. Because if we give him blocker, we're at equal life now. So he can just rest Hawkins, and Hawkins can't rip life from him. Which is unfortunate, but it be what it be. So now he plays Hawkins here, sure. Goes 7 lead. He's going to leave that on top, of course. Yep. I don't want to go down to 3 just yet. We're going to chill here for a little bit. Okay, so we get a Zoro, which is irrelevant at this moment in time. We'll get rid of this first. And then we'll go 6 to face with Hawkins. And then we'll play down Mad Monk. Because I don't get any use of Zoro in this matchup right now, because we're at equal life, you know? I have to be less than my opponent for it to have rush. Let's go 6 here. Okay. We'll play down the Mad Monk and pass it over. Not so bad. We can't give it blocker, but it's okay. If we decided to take the last hit there, that'd been alright. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. No problem. Goes 6 to face. Yep. Give you the 2K. Okay, so far so good. We're at 8 Dawn. Let's start poking. We're going to go 5 or 7 to face, just in case he has a Nami up top. Nope, Hawkins. Draws 2, what are you trashing? 0 cost, okay. This is okay. We can go 5 lead. I kind of want to run this into his Hawkins. I don't really care about ripping the life right now. I think that's okay. We can just get the body off the board. He might take the trade. Sure. That's fine. And now we'll play Kid down and force him at 2 life. So rip his life as well for free. Nice. I'll throw away the Zoro. Because we need the Cavendish for just have that extra 1k counter here. There's a Frankie. When does he go here? He goes to 9 Dawn, right? So no big moms here, unless he's dropping the 7. Or unless he has Kid. Yep, he's got Kid in hand. So there goes the Frankie. That does suck. Swing 7 lead. You know, funny enough, I'm kind of inclined to take this hit. Because I think we can push for game next turn. I know it's silly, but I think we can. Nothing off life here would actually be beneficial other than Hawkins or Frankie, or I think that's it, right? Hey, that works. Cool. Risky, but I think we're fine. Having extra body on board here actually helps out. Without the Frankie, we'd probably have to drop Ace on board to go for face. Or go for lethal here. So I have to assume it's going to be a 0 cost, or an Amaru, or Beji at the end of life here. Trash is the 2k counter. Interesting. Alright, we'll take that. So we're at 10. I think we have to push game here. Because I can't even drop Ace to be safe. Because if we play Ace down and he has the Big Mom, he rips the life and just goes 9 to face. And we have the counter for that, actually. Never mind, we're fine. There is an Amaru, though. That sucks. We'll keep it going. 2k counter. So I need 4 hits here, right? Yeah, we need 4 hits here. I have to do math here. If I do this, it's risky. But... no, sorry, we need 3 hits here. Yeah, 3 hits to land. He took the 5 from Frankie. Oh, no, he didn't. Never mind. He threw us the 2k counter. That's right. Well, we got the hit with Kid, so we should be okay. So this is going to be a 0 cost event. He's got 2 cards in hand. We can just push it with Kid because we know it's guaranteed, right? At this point, we can go 9k with Hawkins and then keep the rest of the Dawn for the Luffy. Because if this is 0, he has to pitch 1 in hand to heal 1. There it is. So we threw away a Nami. And now we just go 7 with Luffy and then finish it off with Kid, hopefully. 2 0 cost events, 1 Amaru in life. Or trash. I think we're golden. Good game, buddy. Well played. That was pretty good. That was definitely a pretty good showcase, not gonna lie. It was a tough matchup, though. It generally is. Just because he can burn our lives as well with the Big Moms and everything that we can use. So... and we kind of need our life to give things blockers. But other than that, I think we did fine. We saw a lot of big bodies on board. We got the Kid. We'll take this for now. I'll go and play another one. Ooh. These are all really good draws. But having 2 kids, she doesn't have an answer to these, so... it's just free life rip at this point. Whereas the other ones have to be on board to swing. Kid just loses their life immediately. Sure. We'll give you a 2k here. I guess we'll go 5 lead first. Yep. You're cool. Run this into Bonnie. Oh, please give me counter. Alright, we'll take those. Can we get lucky? We can. Let's go, boys. Now the question is if we should rip this off first. If we should just immediately let it burn her life. Because we go up to 6 Dawn next turn. That's their 8 cost Kid. Killer on board. 6 lead. Letting Hawkins go isn't a bad idea. Because if we block, we only have 1 attacker next turn anyway. That's our leader. There goes a Hody. And we do the exact same thing here. Ooh, I guess we should have taken the hit, right? Because now we can't give it anything blocker. But I think we're fine. Interesting. This is a big body to be on board right now. Zoro doesn't help us out. Let's just play Cavendish here. We'll pass it over. She can't deal with it. So. Bonnie gets their Cavendish. Alright. So now she has 1 Dawn for the killer. Yep. Goes 5 lead. That is totally okay with me. Appreciate you. Because now we can give something blocker next turn. Which would be Eustace Kid at the most. Okay, so now we're Rip Life. Burn it. Rosinante. No matter what we do here, she's going to rest one or the other. But I don't think we can leave her on 1 life. So, we'll go here. Okay. We know she has the kid, by the way. So, there's that. I'm just not sure why you wouldn't block with killer here. Unless you're giving me cards out of hand. But even still, right? Because you block with killer, get the draw. Interesting. You gave me 3 cards for that. It's crazy. We'll get rid of this. Okay. Sure. Not bad. We can get rid of the Zorro here. Give this blocker. That's 3 0 cost events. Alright, so here comes the kid. Yep. Kid plays... Okay, you have Rosinante. Interesting. Go 6. 2 Dawn open. We have to take one of these hits just to have the 0. But I think she's going to attack with leader here as well. Yep. Okay. So this one we can take. That way we can have another blocker next turn. The downside to this is, if we burn the life, it doesn't hurt us. We gain the blocker, right? Immediately. The downside is she just rests one of my other big units, and we won't be able to touch the kid. And then she either Dofies me next turn, or plays Hody, and rests the other stuff for free. I think we have to attack here. Oh yeah, no, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. Because if we go here, she rests the Cavendish, and she can't Dofi all 3 of them. I know it sounds crazy, but she can't because we get to restand one for free. So it's only a matter of time until she basically loses this game. Get another search off. Oof. Law's not bad here, actually. I don't think we'll have an opportunity to play him, but it's okay. Let's pitch the Law instead. Nice, double 2K counters. We can throw away a 0 cost event, can't we? Is that math? Or do we throw away the Hawkins? Restand. So now if she wants to Dofi, she's only freezing the 2. And then she has no Dawn unless she swings in with Cavendish. And then she can go 9k with Kid after that. Okay, her map's not mathing. That's fine. A little bit of weird of a play, but okay. 10 left. We have to take at least 1 hit. That way we gain blocker next turn. But I kind of want her to go all out. She wants me to block, right? That way she can lock everything down with Doflamingo. Mm-hmm. Now Cavendish can swing at me to restand 2 Dawn. That way she gains a Dawn for the kid and the Dawn for Bonnie effect. We'll take this hit. Because she's forced to do that to get the Dawn back. Now I think we're golden. Get the X-Drake here. Which would be really good if we were at 0 life, but we're not right at this moment in time. Because then we could just rest the Rosinante and then perhaps clear the game. This would be really good at this moment, but we can't use it. So, our other option would be to drop down a Law just to heal 1. That way we are guaranteed to make it to late game. Because who is to say she doesn't have Hody in hand to rest my blocker? You know what I mean? I think go for game that way. This guarantees extra life. So we'll get rid of the Luffy. We'll play this down. I guess it really doesn't matter here. Or in hindsight it does. I should have put the Hawkins there. That's my fault. but it's okay. We'll make do. So now we have to attack with Kid first. And then she'll rest our leader here, so. Yep. Oh, she had the counter. That sucks. That's my bad. I didn't think she would have the counter there, but it's okay. Sure. Ace. Lovely. We'll trash the 0 cost. We kind of need the ace to go for game. So we'll trash the Hawkins here. We kind of need the ace to go for game if it comes to that point. Because if we have to slap down ace to rush into the Kid, so be it. Yeah, we might have to. Going 11 lead. Enable my passive, I guess. Thanks. Oh, so she's trying to go for game here. Interesting. Dofi can swing in for, what, 13k and kill the blocker if we decide to guard here. I think we should just take both hits. Because I need the Kid on board. Because this would be... We have enough counter to guard this one out. Now what do you do? Yep. And now we should be able to win. So automatically, Kid gets rested. And then we have 2 big attacks into her Kid. We just have to land 1 attack after that. So I need the 2k counter or the Rosinante here. Sure. I forgot Law was on board. That's fine though. So there's the Rosie. Oof, I think I should have attached Dawn. Oh well. Yep, I should have attached Dawn. That's my bad. Okay. If we go and attach stuff to Kid, I think we lose here. Because regardless, we have the 0 cost of it in hand, 2 life. On top of... Yeah, no, we're fine, we're fine. Because we play Ace here, we have the Zoro, the pitch for the 0 cost of it. We play Ace, we heal up, we replace the Luffy, we go 10 into Kid. That should clear that off the board. Then we go 5 to face to get a card out of hand. I think that's the correct play. Because if we decide to attach the Dawn to Luffy, that seems a little greedy to me. This seems like the safer play. And then next turn we can win the game. Okay, never mind. I think this is a big nope. We're going to put this back. As much as I want to keep this, we're already playing against a slow deck. So I kind of want to have bodies on board. Not bad. Although this is going to be a harder matchup because he's able to find the red rocks. We'll just pass it over anyway. I say it like we could play anything on board. Leo. The Coliseum gets the draw. I think Usopp's pretty terrifying, by the way. I haven't done a deck profile on him yet. I don't think I'm going to, you know, personally. Not a big fan of the character, so I might just skip over it. But he's a very, very fun deck to play. Especially when it comes to Dressrosa. Kind of reminds me of Rebecca, just a little bit, slightly different variations when it comes to the decks. Very fun. He does have that factor with the Kong Gun, the Luffy. He runs the Kuroses. He has access to the removal. It's very consistent. He goes up to 5 Don next turn. Ooh, okay, cool. So we get to draw 2 or make him trash life. That's awesome. That's a very, very good situation to be in. There's the Sabo. So I don't think he's going to attack this turn. If he does, I'll burn it. Yep. Cool. You have Cavendish in hand as well. We'll go 5 lead first, just to get cards out of hand. Okay. We'll try again. Does we get the block? And then we can play down Cavendish on board. We can't give him blocker, but it's okay. This way we're guaranteed at least to draw 2, trash 1. Unless he's bouncing something back to hand here. When it comes to the Hawkins being on board. Because he does have 7 Don. I've seen some lists that utilize the Borsellino, but we'll see. I think we have to take this hit. He's not going to attack me with Sabo. But staying healthy isn't a bad thing. I'm not in dire need of taking the cards right now. We have a decent hand. Just have to be mindful of pudding. Mm-hmm. Yep. Which, at this moment in time, our hand is fantastic, so if he decides to put in us, we probably just lose the game. I need you to give me cards. Thank you. If he blocks, he gets to draw, so... But he'll lose the Sabo. Yep. You're cool. We'll burn the life. And that's it. We'll get the Law, which is really good. We can get rid of the Zoro here, or 2k counter. And this is where he plays pudding and wins the game, right? It's right here. Oh. Maybe he wants me to draw 2 first, and then he wants to pudding me. These are all pretty good. I don't need the Luffy at this moment in time either, but... This is okay. Goes 6. He still has enough to drop, I guess, Luffy on board. Because he's at 7 Don. He still has enough for pudding. Is he going for game? A little weird. So considering he went 9k to me, perhaps he doesn't have pudding in hand. And that's okay. Because I don't want to counter out of this attack anyway, but just in case he does, we have to do it. Another Rebecca. Okay. Rebecca, Luffy. That's so spooky to deal with, man. Then he plays Cavendish as well. He's got 1 blocker up. If we had taken that attack, we'd play down the X-Drake to rest the blocker and then go for face. But I wasn't sure if he had Rebecca, or sorry, had pudding in hand. It's kind of like a risk, you know? Because I think in this situation, we can just pressure life here. He's going to draw 1 regardless, due to his leader ability. But he only has 1 blocker, so we've got potentially 2 9k swings. This heals us, guarantees us to stay alive for next turn. It doesn't really matter what we put on top of life. The Hawkins allows us to draw though, so that's probably our best bet, opposed to the Luffy or the X-Drake. We go 7 lead here. We can attach 1 Don to Cavendish. They go 9-9. and see what happens here. Okay. It's 3k counter, 3 cards left in hand. He blocks 1, we put him on 0. And then next turn we can win? Maybe? Unless he's got like Tong Gun or something for the Luffy there. But then he still has to get through my blocker. Yep. That leader ability is really good. Alright, what we got? Nope, don't need that. And restand this. Interesting. 11 to face. We can just take the hit, right? And be fine, because we get to draw 2 here. He doesn't have double attack. Not bad. We'll keep the 2k counter. We'll trash the Hawkins here. I just gotta keep in mind Luffy will restand himself, probably. Because he's definitely going for game this turn. So that's 2 11k swings. And he has to swing over the kid before he can even go attacking me. Maybe 10k with Cavendish. And we just take that hit as well. And then we block out either the Luffy or the Usopp. Draw and trash, okay. Yeah, because he's going to restand the Luffy this turn, isn't he? We'll give you the 2k counter. I think that was a misplay on my part. I think we should have just taken this hit. Because he goes 5, right? And this gets restood. Yep. 11 here. Then 5 lead. I think we could have kept at least 1 life, maybe. But it's okay. Good game. He's got 2 2Ks in hand. Alright, let's go ahead and not be able to play our deck real quick. Playing against Blackbeard, of course. Everyone's favorite deck in OP-10. It's very unfortunate, but this leader is coming back. You know, he's still here, kinda. But that Kuzan, yeah. You're gonna hate him as much as everybody else. It's okay. It's okay. We'll get through this together. Although I do feel like Kid can have a good matchup into this with the amount of big bodies this guy can play on board. With the Uruj, the Cavendishes, the Law, the Kids. It's just big body after big body after big body. We don't play a lot of small stuff, which is nice. And the cards that we do play, like the Hawkins and everything, he has to use like Liberation for him not to burn a life, which is nice. And cost reduction, right? As well. Because if he attacks into it or finger pistols, we get to do the thing, so. Of course he gets to search off into the stage. The stage gets to draw something else. He's so cool, man. And he finds the 10 cost each. What a guy. We'll pass. I know it's crazy, but I don't want to attack this yet. That'll just give him 2 cards, right? Okay. Tosses a blocker. We know he has 10 cost teach in hand, so he has 4 cards we have no idea about. I'm hoping he finds another 10 cost teach. No, Vasco shot. Fair. Goes 5 leader. We'll get a Zoro. Or a Zoro. I'm so used to just saying Zoro now. It bothers me. We can toss anything here, really. We know he's got a blocker in hand. There's a Burgess. So, blocker, 10 cost teach, 3 cards we don't know. We'll start pressuring here. Because we get 2 attacks off this turn. And I know he doesn't have a lot of counter. If he wants to give me a blocker, or take the hit, or give me a 2k. Sure. Why not? We don't really have to use this ability. There's not really a point. Well, there's that too, I guess. I feel like Teach sometimes is just so good at this game, you know? I'll give you another one. The moment where he doesn't use leader ability, going into this late game, he'll just lose the game. But I have to play this with the assumption he's always going to have it on. He hasn't used it yet, but we are getting to that point where my big bodies are coming down. There it is. But he's got 4 in hand left. We only know one of them. I don't necessarily mind playing Law. Law's a 9k body in which he can't deal with. At least this late in the game, because he's going to want to play Blackbeard on board. So let's play it down. I know, counterintuitive, we don't get to use his ability, but again, he goes to 8 Dawn next turn. So he's going to need quite a bit to remove this. That's going to be a Von Augur, which he discarded. And he'll need... what? More removal? Or Von Augur and Finger Pistol, or Von Augur with Tempest Kick and the Dog Heal. Alright, so he goes 7k lead. If we guard out, he kills the Law, right? So we get the 0 cost. Another one. It's looking kind of scary over there. Okay, so there's the dock. Give me the leader skill. Or the search. So he has 2 10-cost teaches in hand now. And then he pitches one, right? For leader skill. He has no blockers on board. He's got to turn off my ability here. There it is. Okay, so 2 10-cost teaches, maybe a 2k counter. And he has 1 shot on board. Kid doesn't get to rip life here. We could swing heavily with with Law and Kid. Or we can just play down Eustace Kid for free. Because no matter what, we are going to survive next turn. Because he only has 3 attackers with himself and the 2 teaches. Or, sorry, the 2 Burgesses. So we get the blocker. Yep. We play a Kid down for free. And we don't get to use the ability, but our in-turn ability we can use. Oh. Well, that's okay, I guess. We can't really do anything with this. Man, that sucks, actually. It would have been cool to see Ace there. Or something like that. But it's okay. We get a Beji. Ooh, that's rough. Because now he's going to have to play 10-cost Teach, right? He'll turn off the Law, because Law is the blocker. And then he'll start beating me down with both Burgesses and Marshall D. Teach himself. So, and we have the Capone for one of them. You know what I mean? So I think we can only take 2 damage here. 5. I can't block. I'd have to give him the Cavendish. Or if we take the hit, we'd play Capone on top of the Burgess and call it a day. He's going to swing in with one of them, I think. Or pass turn. Interesting. Why did he do that? Does he just lose here? Because he's got 1 blocker on board. He didn't use leader skill. Yeah, this game's over. Good job, buddy. We'll trash that. I mean, mistakes were made? Yup. Well, he also has no counter in hand, so he only guards 1 hit. We have Capone to stop the other one, 2 0-cost events in hand. Regardless of him using leader ability or not there, I think he lost the game. That's pretty good. Because you only can do 3 damage next turn. And we guard out with 1 Capone. And there's no way he tries to clear board, because they can't attack. So, GG. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably play one more game after this one. Then we'll dive back into the deck list, and I'll talk to you guys about what I plan on changing with this variation of Kid, and what I've done so far. Because like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I do I do like Nico Robin here in this list, and I want to make a build in which works consistently. And there's a couple changes to the current list that we are using that I just like change ratios and stuff, and it's been working. But I do feel like this one is really, really good because I've tried playing with a variation that utilizes the 3-drop killer as well, the one that has no counter, but I don't like it as much. You know what I mean? But we'll get into that. Either way, this should be a tough matchup, I think, unless we don't see our 8-drop kids. We have one in hand with a bunch of counters, so we should be okay. Unless she has Pudding or Red Rock. So, we'll do the thing here. Yep, cool, give this blocker. It's always going to have blocker, it's so good. She's at 5 Dawn. So, we haven't seen a stage, which is really good for us. Unfortunate for Reiju. And sometimes it'd be like that, I mean, you know. What am I to do? There's Queen. Huh. I actually haven't run into a Reiju for a while now, so their list hasn't really changed all too much. They added in some Foxy Pirates and everything, but the lists are generally going to be the same. Going into OP-10, she does have access to some newer stuff, so we'll see. Not a whole lot, but still. Let's do the thing again. Give this a blocker. Regardless if we're not going to block with him this turn, he just gets to restand. Therefore, she can't kill it. So that's a big hand she's got over there. Do we have the other Ichiji? 5 lead. We'll block out. It's fine. It's okay. And now she might be forced to attack into it. But if she wants to kill it, she has to attach Dawn. Or I guess this works too. Because that makes it a 5, right? And then we guard out and say no. Thank you. We'll do it again. Having these bodies on board here is just, it's way too valuable for us. We'll rip life. That's a big mom. Interesting. Haven't seen a big mom in this deck before. It's kind of crazy. We'll go 6 lead. Start poking. She's going to have to clear board next turn, I think. We'll 8 into the queen. 5 cards left in her hands. We'll do the thing. We'll draw 1. Law's not bad. So we're going to have to throw away a 2k counter, actually. We'll get rid of the Frankie. I think Law is very, very good here. Because regardless, we get to heal 1, and then we can go ahead and put a card on life face up. Or sorry, face down. To give something blocker, which is nice. Again, this turn she's going to have to clear board. Alright, sure. No problem. She's just going for it. Yep. That's where she finds another Ichiji. Black Maria. Okay. I like where this is going. Seven lead, maybe? Because she's not clearing anything now, so... So she's putting me on 0. And we can't have that. I was hoping that'd be another kid. That would have been amazing. So I think in this situation, we just play down Law and heal up a life. Put Drake on top. Give it to the leader, of course. Because now we can go 7. Right? I think 7 is fine here. And then maybe 8, 8, 10. Or perhaps we should have done 8, 8, 8, 9. We'll do this. Okay. Cavendish can swing for 9 here. And then good game, perhaps? Sheesh. Almost had enough there. Yeah, almost had enough. Crazy. I mean, the deck itself is working. It's doing quite well. I haven't had too many struggles with it. Of course, I have not seen a Rob Lucci. I don't know how the matchup would go. I'd imagine that Lucci would be able to just run me over, depending on, you know, what bodies that we see in the early game. He does have ways of trashing characters, you know, so the Hawkins and stuff loses a lot of value there. It could be a really rough matchup for the kid. And we don't play with a lot of triggers as well, so things like Marshall D. Teach, another really good matchup for in favor of Teach. So everything else, so far, I've had fun with it. There are some decks in which I don't want to see, right? Boa Hancock, I don't really want to run into that just because of all the red rocks and the bottom decking, which that's not fun to play with. It'd be okay if we played with a bunch of triggers, but we don't. Uta, on the other hand, this should be problematic. She does have access to a ridiculous amount of blockers, but there are times where we can just play down characters of our own, like the Hawkins and stuff, and rip life. Goes 7. Also, I don't think, if I remember, we haven't played an ace on board to actually go for game. We haven't got to the point where we needed the ace yet, so, which is interesting. Because usually in decks like Enel, where we typically play with ace, we always need to have it. I guess because we're taking hits early, you know what I mean? And doing the whole starve thing, I get it. But in this deck, ace and law, they do a lot of work together. And hopefully, with this matchup, we can actually showcase it. Uta doesn't have a lot of removal, so I should be okay in order to do it. Oh, Shanks is the deck I don't want to play against. My bad. I totally forgot about that. He kind of bodies me a lot, which is not fun. His late game is much stronger than my late game. Being able to just play Shanks down and then minus everything by 1,000 power kind of makes my blockers very, very tiny. You know what I mean? He's able to remove them with ease with Ben Beckman and other characters as well. So, it's a tough matchup for sure. Sure. This hand is very, very good for the late game. It doesn't really matter here, I guess. I wish we had a Zoro at this moment in time. We can put it on life and take the hit and play it down, but we're throwing up Cavendish, I guess. I'll go 6 face. Start getting cards out of that hand. I think our late game is stronger than Uta's. Unless this deck is running something obnoxious like Zoro or something, I think we're fine. I already assumed the kid, right? She has to be running Eustace Kid. Give this blocker. There's no reason for me to give this to Hawkins. So I think she'll probably try to clear Zoro if possible. And then do damage to face. If she decides to attack Hawkins, she's doing me a favor. Of course we lose a body, but she rips a life. And then next turn she rips another life just because Eustace Kid. 5 lead. We'll take our hit. So now we can do our blocker thing. 6 here. We have a couple 2Ks we can play around with here. I think X-Drake has more value. Considering we are at lower life. Luffy, Brook, Uta. Yep, it's pretty good. That's pretty good. 6 cards left in hand. Let's rip the life first. There's an Uta. And now let's go face. I don't really care about board. The other thing we potentially can kill is a Brook, and if I have to run Law into Brook, I'll do it. Okay, never mind. Maybe I won't. We'll go face again. Because now we can run Law into Luffy, and then potentially get the Uta blocker as well. They take the hit. Crazy. I know I'm being super aggressive, but we have a bit of counter in hand as well. And as long as we can get rid of the Luffy or the Uta on board, I'm okay with that. We'll go 9 here. She just lets it go. Alright. We'll get rid of the Zoro. That's not what I expected. We can restand. It's not really worth restanding him right now. We'll get rid of the kid. Or restand the kid. Yeah, I figured she'd block out with Uta there and keep the Luffy. But maybe she wants the Uta just for the end of turn effect? I'm not sure. Luffy could at least swung, right? Because we are going to take at least one of these hits. Just so our ability is up for next turn. 6 into 5. I kind of want to protect this. I know it's crazy. She did get a blocker off that. She still has 3 more attacks, not counting any I'm Invincibles in hand. You know what? We are still going to guard for this. There's no reason not to. She has 9 Dawn. So she either does I'm Invincible stuff, or plays a character this turn to give Katakuri the extra Dawn before he swings. Now she goes 5 face. Because Kata needs the rested Dawn to be in order for him to get the power boost, right? Yeah, there's a Shanks. That's cool. And now he can swing 6 into the Zoro. And then he can have the Zoro at that point. So if she kills Hawkins, then I guess she probably loses the game at this point. Because she only has 1 blocker on board. Unless she has a ridiculous amount of counter in hand. And out of the 7 cards, I only remember that she just got the Uta, the one that has no counter. So she has 6 cards potentially. And she chose not to swing. Okay. That's fine. I have a way around this. Maybe she didn't want to give us the blocker, you know what I mean? With our end of turn ability, but I have a way around that. So now we're going to start going for board. And this beats going for face, I think. Because either way, she's going to have to give me cards, right? And there's no way she can kill us next turn. Because we give something blocker and we get the heal with Ace. Okay. Well, here you go. Oh, yeah. I have to attack with 9k. I can't attack. I have to attack here with 9k. I was going to go ahead and attach everything and go game, but I forgot the blockers up. That's fine, though. Okay. We drop this. He cannot swing, right? But we still get the heal. The heal will allow us to give something else on board, a blocker effect. She has bare minimum 3 attacks next turn, not counting a I'm Invincible or a Hody Jones. And that's a Capone. Well, it's been fun. Because at this point, I'm not sure what else she can do here. I think the Beji probably seals the game. Because this will stop any I'm Invincible plays. And if it doesn't, if somehow she's able to do damage here or clear some of my board, we have enough to prolong the matchup with Ace for next turn. Alright, so we get Luffy on board with Uta. Yep. 3 Dawn open, so that's enough for I'm Invincible. We know that she has 1 in hand. There's a 2k Chopper. So it's 5 cards in hand we don't know. 7 into Hawkins. If we guard out with Kid, she runs over Kid with Shanks. Okay? The irony in that. Instead, we can guard this hit. We'd have to dump our whole hand here, but it's better to just let it go instead, I think. Because now 6 here. Let's guard this one as well. Not with Kid, but just with our hand here. She won't be able to swing with Uta or Luffy, which is nice. So Shanks has only one option here. Go for face or go for the Zoro. Yep. You got it, buddy. And 2 blockers. What do I want to do? Go 5 lead first. Also force cards out of hand. Yep, so that's a 2K chopper we needed. She had. We go 9. Alright, we'll heal again. We'll gain a life. We'll give Kid blocker. Ooh, we'll trash the monk. We'll give Kid blocker. So far, so good, boys. Remember, we were at 1 life. We healed 3 so far. And Uta cannot deal with a 9K body, man. She goes 6. We give her the 2K counter. Or we take the hit. Doesn't really matter here. I think we need to go ahead and counter out. The downside to countering out is she clears the ace. And I think she's going to clear the ace regardless, even if we did decide to keep that 2K Frankie. Because she does have the I'm invincible. Okay. Okay, so now it's a problem. Now this might be a problem. I mentioned the Kid earlier, and I still didn't expect the Kid. I need to see Law, I think. I think Law allows me to stay in the game. Law also allows... Well, that works too. That's cool. We're chilling. We're chilling. The downside, though, we have to attack into the Kid. So. This will take the blocker. Yep. And we just do it again. It's so good. Ooh, man. That's a good card, but we have to toss it. I think I need to keep the 1K counter here. It's very risky. And I don't think we're going to need this to win the game. You know, let's go for it. Let's go for it. What's the worst that could happen? Double Capone. There it is. That's the worst that could happen. Good luck. Good luck. She has to go for game this turn. And she can't, actually. Like, she has the I'm invincible in hand, but it's not enough. Because we just Capone her. And she can't swing. And I think there was a couple turns where we didn't even attack with our leader. Because their Kid was on board. Because even if she wants to go for game, she can't. Shanks is going to clear ace anyway. If we decide to block, there's not really a point. Because if she decides to restand herself with I'm invincible, we have the Capone, and there's nothing else that really she can do. Because then we just Capone the leader here. Or we Capone Shanks. I guess we'll Capone Shanks here. Because this will force her to actually play I'm invincible if she has it. I'm pretty sure she does, if I remembered right. Yeah, we'll trigger this on Shanks. And she did have it. Yeah, so she restands, she gets another damage in, we get to play Zoro down or whatever. We're chilling, boys. That was really good. That was a really good game there. Nice showing today. Let's go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the end of the video, in which today we played around with Eustace Kid. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun for me, definitely because we haven't had a Kid video in a very, very long time, let alone this leader hasn't really done much in the metagame. The only other deck that has been, somewhat viable would be the green Eustace Kid. And currently, this deck can still be played up until this point, OP-10, OP-11, by adapting a Bonnie variation. You know what I mean? Because, green deck makes sense. The red Kid hasn't really made too many waves, let's be fair. Not saying it's super bad or anything, just it hasn't really done all too much. And that's fair. But going into OP-10, we've gained access to a yellow variation of Kid, which has life manipulation and a lot of good stuff that we can use when it comes to yellow cards. Now, specifically Supernova. And again, with Supernova, we have access to Law. And for whatever reason, I feel like Bandai really liked this character, and that's totally fine. If there's a Law character and a color that you happen to like, you know, yellow, for example, Law is also yellow. So every time they print a decent yellow card, you know, Law is probably going to be able to use that card as well. So, fair chances, so will you. Just like Katakuri. Now, Katakuri is able to use the 8-cost Eustace Kid. Katakuri is using things like X-Drake and all of that good stuff. Now, when it comes to Kid, there's a lot of different variations in which you can build this deck out of. And I know some of you guys are probably interested in running Nico Robin, which makes sense. And I have done a list. This is a list in which I've been working on. I think is doing well for me. I haven't really felt super confident enough into it to do a video about it and say it's doing really, really good and XYZ here and there. So I showed you guys my previous version 1. But this is version 2. You can take this with a grain of salt. There's some other things I want to do to this list before I feel like it's going to be something that I would be confident in. Now, I thought about this for a little while. Robin, of course, is very, very good in this deck list. Not only because it gets to rip life, right? But because off a trigger, you're able to play characters from your hand on the board for free. So things like Zoro being a 3-cost, he can come on the board for free. The same thing with your Searcher, also can come down on board for free. Your X-Drake as well. The other thing about this, alright, so hear me out. I'm cooking, alright? You have Viola. Unfortunately, Viola is not a Supernova pirate, right? But she can replace Scratchman Apu. Her doing that allows you to flip your life back face down in case your opponent doesn't attack into you when your life is face up. Therefore, your leader ability can't be activated. Well, if we slap down a Viola, guess what? You have no choice because you can activate your leader ability for free. Or you can go ahead and rearrange your opponent's life, all that sort of thing. Now, I think this might do well here. I have to play test this a little bit more because I've seen a lot of lists out there that are running things like Shirahoshi blocker, which is fine. Shirahoshi is one of the best yellow blockers, or best yellow, I guess, in the game, right? Let's be fair. But Viola really helps out these yellow decks that has anything to do with like life manipulation. So, but either way, this has been the build that I've come up with thus far when it comes to Eustace Kid. I do hope you guys give it a shot. Leave your thoughts and your opinions down in the comments below. Let me know what you're working with. Are you excited to play this character in OP-10? As much as I am? We'll see. I also am... My graphic designer is also working on a custom playmat for this as well. I'll be revealing that in Discord here soon. But outside of that, this has been Pawseplays. Remember to smash that like button so these videos can get floating around. And I will catch you guys in the next video and or at locals. I'll see y'all later.